Hello, my name is Steve Gerhardt. This is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by today and watching today's video. Today's video is about Buddha, the manga called Buddha by the great Osamu Tezuka. But before I get into the manga, I just want to say a quick word to everyone who watched my video last week. It was a personal video, and the responses to that were amazing and thoughtful and wonderful, and you guys are wonderful and you're awesome, and thank you so much. It was a personal video. You can tell it was kind of important to me, and you guys were great and awesome about it, so cool. Okay, so now on to Buddha by Osamu Tezuka. So, if Tezuka's name seems familiar to you in the world of manga, it should. He is the godfather of manga. He's the guy who really defined the art form. He would later go on also to do some anime stuff, but manga is really what he's known for. So, the artwork of Buddha is typical Tezuka style. The way he draws the figures, kind of legs are a little bit different, wider towards the bottom. Very expressive faces, interesting hair. And you can go from that to what appears to be just like comedic scribbles. And then there are panels that are punctuated with just outstanding detail and just beautiful imagery of jungles and ruins or airplanes or whatever. So if you're familiar with that Tezuka style, this is definitely going to happen in Buddha. And in Buddha, it's even greater because the jungle scenes are just amazing. The temple scenes are just amazing in terms of just the detailed artwork. And you know that he just spent hours on that one panel. So it's a delight, visual delight to look at. The story itself, Buddha, is about Buddha, Siddhartha Buddha, which is the guy who founded the Buddhism religion. And he is the enlightened one. So he's the one that kind of took the enlightenment and then said and brought it to mankind in India. Now, it had a magazine run. I think it was the magazine was called Comic Tom or Tom Comic, something like that. And it ran from September 1972 to December 1983. So it had a really long run. The Japanese volumes go up to 14 volumes. For Americans, it's condensed down into 8 for some reason. I'm not sure why. But you can usually find it in any library if you want to get it and not pay for it. The plot, of course, is about Buddha. But just a warning, this is not an entirely historical representation of Buddha. By that I mean it gets his religious philosophy, the Buddhist philosophy, right. So that's all throughout the manga. Certain historical key points for Siddhartha is also inside the manga. So, there are historical references that you can reference to kind of flesh out kind of the details. The story is really about right before Buddha is born, during his life, and right after his death. And it involves a cast of characters, some of them who are real people, and a lot of them were fictional, and some of them make references to kind of Buddhist fairy tale stories or stories with, fables, if you will, with meanings. Yeah, so you're going to get elements of how he came across the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, things of that nature, how Siddhartha went from a bored prince in a walled palace and never leaving to actually leaving and experiencing the world and becoming enlightened and then sharing that enlightenment. And the cast of characters that are linked to him show stories of that enlightenment, how they learn it, and how each tale sort of supports or educates Buddha as he goes through his own life. So what does Tezuka talk about? How does he use Buddha? What does he talk about? Well, the big two themes that Tezuka talks about, one of them is definitely Buddhist. Well, they're both definitely Buddhist themes, but one seems to be a little bit more personal to Tezuka, and the other one talks more about Buddha's enlightenment. And the Buddha's enlightenment, part of that is how everything is interconnected. So that's why the cast of characters are so important, because they are interconnected. So that sense of interconnectedness and sense of like things happen for a reason. Things don't just happen for the sake of happening. And, because you're interconnected with the world, your actions mean something. So that's why, if you're not a good person or you do bad things, you get punished for it. If you're a good person and you do good things, you get rewarded. And it has to do heavily with reincarnation. It has to do with justice. It has to do with just how the world works. There's a great little story in there about a Buddhist saint who is sitting in the forest dying of starvation, and a rabbit comes up to him and says, "Eat me," right? And the saint is just like, "No, I believe in life. I'm not going to kill you to eat you for my own selfish gain." And the rabbit tries to explain to him, "No, it's okay. This is how the world works. This is how things go. You need to live because you need things to do. This is what I can do for you to help the world move forward." And the rabbit actually jumps into the campfire, and kills itself, but provides himself as food to the saint. The saint takes this message and this lesson, and he goes through his life with this thing, preaching it. And so that's kind of an example of the interconnectedness of all. The other personal thing that Tezuka seems to have is his, and I don't like it either, but apparently he has a real big problem with caste systems, or systems where you're put into a place where, this is where you are in the world and that's it. He makes particularly harsh, not fun of, but criticism of the caste system in India. The very first story in Buddha is all about that. And it runs through, including Tada's story, my favorite story, talks about being in a caste as well. And the whole point of enlightenment is, if you want to be enlightened, if you want to be peaceful, if you want to be at peace, and you want to eventually get to heaven, why do you need castes? Why do you need this system that puts people down and elevates others for no good reason other than what the circumstances of what they're born into? So, Tezuka has a very, very critical message of that. You'll enjoy this because it really does talk about things about like ethics, morality, and issues like that. So am I telling you to read this manga? Of course I'm telling you to read this manga. This is something important. This is actually something worth your time. It'll give you a better idea of actually Eastern philosophy. It'll give you a better idea of Eastern history, particularly India in particular, ancient India. And when I say history, I don't mean like specific dates and things like that, but just gives you an idea of how things worked. It's, like I said, it's an amazing, amazing little manga. And of course it's by Tezuka, the godfather of manga. So yeah, check it out. Okay, so that's it for this week. Again, check out Buddha by Osamu Tezuka. And if you want to see some other videos, please check out my raft of videos I've been making over the years. Enjoy those. But if you want to watch the weekly dig and a anime that we review, there's 3 of us that do that over at Geek Archaeology every Saturday starting at 8 p.m. And there's those videos over there, so their link will be down below. Check them out. And thanks for watching as always. If you like this video, hit the like button. I'd love it if you subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 250 people. We get to 250 people and you get digital sushi. And who doesn't want digital sushi? So anyway, so like and subscribe. And lastly, again, thanks for watching. COVID-19 is still a thing, so wear your mask, social distance. We're almost there. We got a vaccine coming on, but you got to keep doing it. Because I want you guys to stay safe so that when we can go to in-person conventions again, it would be really cool to maybe bump into some of you and say hi. So, yeah. Again, my name is Steve Gearhart. This is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week, and happy Thanksgiving.